Hello, and welcome back to the Fate of Aeothar. Previously, the party had begun their interrogation of Captain Tomlin of Blackfield, learning more about the motivations of the cult and the state Ethevon has been thrust into in their absence, with some of the minor towns being captured and taken by Blackfield, and the people of those towns being transformed into monstrosities, thralls to the being the cult worships, Azathoth, who gains more power through these slaves. The party finds out that the city of Wintervale is next on the Baron's warpath, the home of Durgat's mother and several other allies of the party. Upon finishing their interrogation, Tomlin confides that his ride is almost there when an ancient black dragon destroys the tower he's being held in and breaks out Tomlin and Razula. She then lays waste to the city of Playaxula, destroying many of the structures, including the palace, the Temple of Bakab, and others. Searching through the wreckage, the party discovers the casualties, who include Sultan Arcanas, the High Priests of Bakab, Tektarog, Shandar, and Kozar, and Tony's father, Arno. A couple days have passed, and the dead are ready to be buried, and the destruction being cleaned up in an effort to begin rebuilding. And that's where we're picking up.
Okay, that was a emotional roller
That was
coaster.
depressing.
That's what happens when a city gets melted.
Okay, can we not instantly Eldritch Blast?
But so I guess first things first is at some point on you said a couple days had passed, but as soon as Moss would have gotten a rest and awoken, he would have gone to whoever the fuck is second in command now, who I guess spending some time in the castle. Moss would know. I don't know who that is, but whoever following up on the Sultan the very next day would approach them.
So you would know that the next in line to take the throne would be the Sultan's son, Aldaseth Arcanas. He will be advised by Captain Balthazar, Sultan Arcana's essentially right-hand man, until he is of a mature enough age to rule independently.
So with
How
knowing
old
that, Moss
is
would
the
approach
son?
the captain.
His son is roughly about 15. Still,
He's getting there.
yeah, still very young, but he's getting there.
But knowing that Moss would approach the captain man.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you approach Captain Balthazar, and he sees you approach and says, hello.
Moss gives a slow, solemn bow. I am sorry for the state our city has come to.
And he says, so are we all. We never could have seen this coming. It's tragic, all the lives lost.
Indeed, it is. I hope I can help as much as I can. However, would it be possible to see the Sultan's body?
And he says, yes, it's been cleaned up and prepared for burial. There will be a funeral procession later today, and he'll be laid to his final resting spot.
Must not. Well, that may not be entirely necessary. Could you lead the way?
And he says, yes, of course. And takes you through the ruined palace and goes back to where most of the dead have been prepared for burial, and says he's here. And you see the Sultan in a golden steel coffin with draconic ruins carved on each side of them, and it's a very lovely display.
How much? So it's like this very, very ornate thing wrapping his body, yeah?
Yeah, I would say he's been wrapped due to the damage his body had taken in the siege.
Yeah, so he Moss would reach down and roll it back just enough to uncover the face, not the rest of the body, but just enough to properly get a look at the Sultan, and just being as gentle as possible with this covering.
Okay. And yeah, it's like a white cloth linen that's covering him, and yeah, you pull it back, and he does still look pretty beat up and scarred a bit, some burns on his face.
Moss, still kneeling down, would turn and look up to the captain. All of his eyes kind of whirring, moving very quickly, quicker than probably usual. Lot going on, and he's go. Now, it would seem that certain things I can do have grown more in my time in this castle. I believe I can bring him back.
And Captain Balthazar says, "Bring him back. Are you sure that's something you can do?"
I nod. But, however, powerful spells cost in many ways, not just in the toll of my magic, but material. And he puts his hand on the cloth. It's like, this material. And reaches into his pouch. This material. And just a handful of gold. I know not of coin, but I know these can be rather expensive. If the crown can supply, I can bring him back. But I have not used this before. I do not know what he will be or how he will be, but I feel I can bring him back.
And Captain Balthazar starts hurriedly looking around for any guards that might be around and says, "You there, go into the treasury, whatever's left of it, and bring out a chest full of gold. Quickly now, quick." And the guard hurries off. And a few moments later comes back, dragging a very large chest full of gold behind him, and
As
pops
as
open
as
the lid.
as they're as they're bringing all this, when he rushed off, I would also turn to the captain. I was like, if possible, I would like my friends here. I'm not sure what will happen, and having them would be safer.
And he says, "Yes, yes, of course. Do you know where they might be at this moment?"
I believe we were staying at the same tavern, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but the tavern, does the tavern still exist?
Yeah, we went back there and rested after everything last session.
Yeah, the
Pretty sure that's where
tavern
we ended.
that you guys were at, it's kind of more on the outskirts of the city, and
That's fine.
wasn't quite affected as much by.
What was the name of that
destruction.
tavern?
The Oasis.
Thank
The
you.
Oasis. Yes, my friends could be found at the Oasis Tavern.
And he says, "Okay, I will send a detail to them immediately," and has the same guard who went and fetched the gold, and another guard who was in the area, and tells him, "Go to the Oasis Tavern. Uh, you know who his friends are. They're trusted allies of Plagueula. Go fetch them and have them come to the palace." And they say, "Aye, sir," and run off out of the wrecked palace. And
Since I walked here, how about how long do you think it would take for them to go get them and rush back? If I had to gauge that.
yeah, maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So if they're gonna go ahead and start that, as soon as they leave, Moss would go ahead and start druid crafting very wet, very potent plants into his hands, and slowly start drawing a circle around and using the gold next to him. Start beginning the hour-long casting time of reincarnate.
Okay. So
And I have the base list for that, for the races for that, or if you have your own, also, whatever you want to do for that. Let's get where it gets dicey with reincarnate.
yeah,
It's about to get fun.
if you have your own, that's fine. If you use it.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it up real quick.
Okay. And as you do that, the guards hurriedly race from the palace and make their way through the destroyed city and make it to the outskirts and go to the Oasis Tavern, where they go in and start searching around for the rest of your party. Hadrada, Talia, Durgit, and Tony. What are all of you doing at this moment?
Talia is standing like either on a table or like like somewhere that's like a stage, just like we're sitting on it, like playing some music to try and cheer the people up a bit.
Hardrada's hurriedly rushing to find a library.
So you're not in the tavern?
No.
Hmm. I will like once we get the message, where I'm probably gonna send Aza to you.
Okay.
Not yet, because we don't know yet.
Durgit, Tony, what are you doing?
Probably still in my room.
Yeah, also in my room, probably finishing the letter to my mom.
Okay. So the guards approach Talia and say, your mechanical friend, he has requested your presence at the palace.
Oh.
If you could gather the rest of your group and make your way there as quickly as possible, please.
Of course, thank you. I'll have them know. And she like puts her musical instruments away and gets up and goes up to the rooms and is like, we're requested at the palace by our mechanical friend. Like at both like
Okay.
possibly the doors are next to each other, so she just goes. Oh my goodness.
Be right out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish the last sentence and just walk out of the door.
I thought you can't read.
I can read, I just have difficulties with reading and writing.
Oh.
The words just mix together, okay? And I probably made some spelling mistakes in this one, but she'll be able to figure it out.
Okay.
So?
Oh, and when did you get Hadrada? Does anyone know where Hadrada went?
Adraji's telling him where you're going.
I probably told Talia where I was going, given that they were the only one awake, or she
Right.
was the only one awake.
Oh yeah, right. He's going to the library. I'm gonna try send Azia out as her usual raven form and look if she can find him.
Okay. So Hadrada, as you go to the library, it begins to dawn on you that the library was within the Temple of Bakab and is destroyed.
The only library?
Yes.
Ah. Hardrada just face palms like, oh yeah.
Goes back to the tavern.
Yeah, I guess I'll go back to the tavern.
So as you go back to the tavern, you see.
You're not the DM.
No, listen. Okay, I'm Azia. Okay, as you go back to the tavern, you like see like a bird flying around very weirdly, and then she sees you, stops, like lands somewhere, stops, and then flies directly like at you.
Ah.
What a rude bird.
It's like you can tell it's Azia because it's of the way she flies, and it's like pecking at you, and it's like, dude, the tavern. It's like she's not saying that, but like she's trying to drag you in the direction.
I guess I follow Azia.
Azia is a crow, right? Or raven?
Yeah, a raven.
Go peck out my
Ravens
ass.
can actually.
Yeah, ravens can
Ravens
do
actually
mimicry.
pretty. Yeah, they are
Oh,
actually
yeah.
pretty good at
That's
imitating
right. I've
sounds
seen so
and
many ravens
voices.
online talk. She's like, "To the tavern, to the tavern." What she's saying.
Tavern! To the tavern!
So yeah,
What? Jimmy's fallen into the well?
So yeah, as Hadrada makes his way back to the tavern and enters into it, you see Talia and the rest of your group. They're talking to a couple of guards who are there.
Talia just looks at her daughter. It's like, "You're arrested," with a dead face, like with a dead, like straight face. It's like, "You're arrested."
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking with you. Requested at the palace.
Moss needs this for some reason, apparently.
Moss wants to have us at the palace. The palace. He's there for some reason. So we're going to the palace now.
And the guards like open the door for you and kind of give you like the ushering motion, you know, like this way, please.
Can I turn to one of the guards and I say to them, Hey, would you know how I would get a letter from here to Ethevon as quickly as possible?
And they say, well, we do have messenger birds that we could send a message on.
Okay, can you send this letter to Wintervale for me? I'll pay you if you need some payment.
And they say, no, it's fine. No payments necessary. Yeah, just give us the letter and we will get it sent off.
Yeah, okay. Everything's on the letter. Everything you need to know, and I give him the letter.
Okay. And the guard like kind of stuffs it into his breastplate and motions for all of you to make your way towards the palace.
And I do.
And as a note, the letter is written in Orc, not in Common, so not as many people would be able to read it.
Okay, cool, got it. Does your mom understand Orc?
She's
I
at work.
mean, I can't speak Orc, and I've never seen an Orc in my life, so yeah, she can speak Orc. She taught me.
Mama
Oh.
Bear made sure
I thought your mom was
her
human.
babies take care of. Humans can learn
Yeah, she was a
Orcish.
human, but she is a human, but she can still learn other languages.
A
That's
human
how
with a
humans
half
work.
orcish daughter. I feel like
Okay,
she'd go
yeah,
out
yeah.
of her way.
Fair enough.
I'm not a
Child.
dragon. I know
Child.
draconic.
Right.
Child, not daughter.
Fair enough.
I
fair enough.
know Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Dwarvish,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Infernal.
yeah.
We get it.
Shut
Oh,
up.
do you flex languages?
I was just clarifying, but okay, cool, got it.
I still have the Tyrannosaurus Rex in my thing, by the way. Maybe you want to remove that. Take that away from me.
Take
That's a bit
away
too
that
much
power.
that I wield. Yeah, but that's a bit too much power that I
Oh,
wield.
my man should have all that power.
Okay.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited power.
So yeah, you leave the tavern and begin making your way back to the palace where Moss has requested your presence. Entering into the ruined palace, it still looks in shambles. There hasn't been much progress in cleaning up much of the rubble. All of the bodies have been taken and prepared for burial, but besides that, it's still very ruined looking.
Well, shit. So I guess I head to the burial chamber.
Yeah, where
Mhm.
Moss?
I'm guessing we know that they want us in the burial chamber.
Yeah, I mean the guards are like escorting you back to Moss. They're not just gonna, stop at the front gate and be like, "Good luck finding him."
So it counts to 10. He's
Good
hidden.
luck, idiots.
He's somewhere under the rubble.
hidden.
Have fun with me.
There was another attack. He's dead.
Oh no!
Exactly.
Legal reasons
I
you're under
follow
arrest
the
now.
gods.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they escort you through the ruins of the palace and take you into the back room where all of the burial preparations have been being conducted.
And you see Moss just with the Sultan still wrapped in his cloak, now head recovered, in this very ornate magic circle completely around him, completely made out of different moss and plants and flowers that none of you have ever seen before. Just
Oh, yeah, it's like very much-
impossible plants.
Talia's just like,
And you see the Sultan within like a very ornate golden casket with like ivory handles, and you see that his head has been exposed from the wrap, the burial wrap that has been placed on it.
I recovered while everyone was gone.
Okay, got it.
Magic trick.
no, boss, what
You
kind
lift the thing again and he's gone.
I pull the rug out from under the Sultan without knocking him out of the coffin.
Shazam.
Hey boss, so what kind of magical bullshit?
hey,
He
don't
doesn't
call him
respond.
bullshit.
He's too focused as he's going.
Just watch
Thanks for the
in
answer.
vague amazement.
You
told
can
him also,
see
like,
like
wow.
if you go up and approach Moss, you'd see all of the lenses of his eyes are just in a constant state of shifting
I'm
and zooming
studying
and adjusting.
Moss.
His body, his torso and legs are like sat perfectly, like sitting on his legs. You know what I'm talking about? Very focused, but his arms are doing these very ornate motions. There's a constant muttering of sounds coming out of his mouth. And funny enough, I just said don't flex languages. Does anyone here speak Sylvan?
Sylvan? No, I do not speak Sylvan.
Nah.
Wait.
No.
I don't think so. No, I don't. I
So,
speak Infernal, though.
Yeah, no, you all hear Moss muttering this impossible language going faster than you could comprehend as he's going, and he sits there, and it took you guys, 15, maybe 20 minutes to get here, and he sits here in this trance. When you guys got there, he probably, if anything, started moving faster, having a little bit more confidence in his movements, having his party there, and would go
Wow.
through and
I would die for Moss, in fact.
and go through and do his finish the casting of this spell. Would you like to roll, Mike, or shall I?
No, I'll roll. You have your table
Can I
pulled
whisper?
up.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking at
whisper
it
to
right
the
now. It's
party,
also in
"Yo,
DM
this
notes.
guy's
It's
talking
D100
faster than my
for
mother,
yours, right?
she's mad."
Yes, sir.
Okay. 26.
26. The Sultan, you see, besides the Sultan, Moss reaches out with his left hand and one last time uncovers the body of the Sultan
And he's gone.
and reach out and touch his forehead. And when he touches his forehead, this vast expanse of these plants just slowly go through and start within the casket, just covering the body of the Sultan. And then he reaches out with his right hand next to him and touches the ground. And you see a very similar bed of moss, the same moss that grows across moss, grow across. Can I say moss a couple more times? Moss. Grow across the ground.
Tiny little robots.
And this, well, that's the thing. You see Moss himself being covered, Moss being this very heavy mechanical object. But in this moment, every single thing, and every time you've seen him cast magic, it's the mechanical nature of it flashing. But in this moment, it is very much nothing but the nature and the plants around him. And out of this moss pile that he's touching the ground with his right hand comes a rather short and stout figure as the body of a hill dwarf appears on the ground next to him.
Tony audibly gasps, but he doesn't want to ruin the moment, so he's not going to say anything. He's like,
What'd you do?
He is exactly the
Oh,
same
fucking-
in every way, mind, body, sound, except
Well,
for
body.
his race. Yes.
I awkwardly pull out one of my my rapier and just look at the party with like a questioning look.
Moss would slowly stand and turn to the party and just kind of hold his hand up. That
if Tony had a jar,
won't be
it would on the
necessary.
floor.
Tony doesn't have a jar?
Okay, I awkwardly put away the
Well, he's got a
rapier.
helmet on.
And is a door not a door?
Tony does have a jar.
And the body of the hill dwarf that is now next to Moss, you see the eyes kind of start to flutter open ever so slowly. The chest kind of compressing and decompressing, air going in and out of the body once again. And as the eyes are kind of slowly fluttering open, they snap open, and you just hear, "What happened? What was that?"
Moss
And
would kneel down and just place his hand on his chest and slowly just make sure he leans back down. Like, be calm. I'm not sure what you're feeling, but I know it can't be good. It's okay now. We've handled it.
Now there's gonna be 2 dwarven kingdoms.
and he says, my mind is so cloudy, I can't remember anything. What happened?
It seems we were attacked, and you fell. Hopefully, with time, you will regain your memories. But for now, my Sultan, you are alive. And that is all that matters.
And he says, I can't remember much, and starts like looking at his hands and his feet, and goes to like grab for his tail and says, what is what is this body?
This seems to be a complication of my spell. I apologize, I am unable to turn you into your true former form, but alive nonetheless.
And he says, yes, alive, and begins looking around and says, where where's my son? Is he alive? Did
Yes.
he make it?
Yeah, I'd turn to the
Yes.
captain. Please fetch his son. I believe his family would be most helpful at this time.
And you see Captain Balthazar like leave the room and come back a few moments later with the young dragonborn Aldeseth, and he brings him in, and the captain kind of squats down on one knee in front of him and says, "Now look, son, I know, I know this is different. This is something."
Before he comes back, I would actually reach down and polymorph the Sultan back into his former form.
Oh, okay.
Just for so the captain wouldn't know this before he brought him back, but while he was gone, it's like, it may be difficult for your son, but this may be easier to introduce him slowly. And then reach out and polymorph him, just so he, for an hour, looks as his former self.
Okay. And as Captain Balthazar comes back in with Aldeseth, he says, "Son, your father, by some magic, he lives." And the young dragonborn kind of looks at his father that he recognizes sitting on the ground. He has his horns that are jutting up, just a cluster of horns that make the form of a crown jutting out of his head. And you just hear him say, "Father? Father, how?" And runs up and hugs him. And the Sultan hugs him back very deeply and strongly and says, "My son, many things are different now. We have much to discuss." And looks at you and says, "Thank you, Moss. Thank you for everything."
Moss stands and gives a deep, deep bow. Says, "Thank you for finding me and giving me favor where others would have simply destroyed me. I owe you a debt, and I hope we can consider this repaid."
He says, "It's repaid beyond measure. I have no idea how I can even begin to repay you myself. I am indebted to you."
Moss just gives us another soft bow. He goes, "My Sultan," and turns to his party and walks away.
And the Sultan begins to kind of slowly stand up, his legs a bit wobbly, and takes his son by the hand and says, "Come, we have much to discuss," and begins leading him out of the ruined palace. Captain Balthazar, escorting the two of them, staying very, very close, and assigns a couple of guards to also come along and provide additional protection.
"Thank you all for coming. I was unsure what would happen, and I needed to be sure everything was safe."
You just. What?
Moss turns
That
to
was
Tony.
amazing.
"I needed to make sure it was safe before I said anything to you."
I
Brought him back to
is
life.
it safe? Cause like Tony, this is the first time you're seeing this.
This is the exactly first time we've seen this. Someone just. Oh, well, yeah, but like.
Adrada did die before.
Yeah. But yeah, but, like, Hadrada was brought back by a god.
True, but Mars, quick story time. Hadrada died that one time, then he came back, and 2 days later he was evil. So nothing like that is gonna happen to the Sultan, right?
I
Also, the
don't
Sultan
know.
is a dwarf. Is the Sultan a dwarf now, or is he a dragon?
For the next
Explain, is
hour, he is his former body. At the end of that, my magic will fade, and he will return to his new form, the dwarf. All
Is
I
it the
can
same
do.
thing-
Go on.
Is it the same thing you did with Talia and the T-Rex, or similar?
Exactly the same. However, I simplified it to just let him be himself for a little while.
I understand.
Finding
okay.
yourself in an unknown body, in an unknown place, can be very jolting, discomforting. Any comfort I can offer, I would like to give.
And you just.
I can't control how they come back, but in nature, Death is something that must happen. However, and Moss flexes out his hand, and you see just one flower, unlike any flower any of you have ever seen before, just starts slowly growing out of his hands. Seems I have developed more control over nature. So, and he turns to Tony and plucks the flower. Allow me some rest, and I believe we can make your family whole.
Tony's speechless. He's still like in a state of shock.
Moss just stands there unmoving, holding the flower to you. Just no moving.
In like an offering kind of way? Or
Yeah,
just,
but
like,
yeah, just
general?
holding it out to
Oh,
you.
I'll take that flower.
He goes, now, I must rest. And he just walks back to the tavern.
Oh,
Or in the direction of the tavern.
Hey,
Heard
can you eat that flower? Is that thing edible?
Flower. No.
No.
Stop it.
no! Get off my... You just like snap Tony back to reality for a moment with that comment. He's like, "What? No, stop, no.
I'm just saying, if
Like-
I ate it, would I die?
Look, you're not eating it.
I mean, I
Chris
won't,
is
but
like trying to grab it, or like Tony is like holding him back, just like no,
No,
no.
I'm not trying to grab it. I'm just saying, if Moss could grow more of these things, and if these things are deadly, we could technically have a good advantage against Blackfield because we're still punching these fuckers.
It's a flower, okay, calm down. I open my,
Flowers can be
a little
poisonous
book.
as
Poisonous
fuck.
flower.
just regardless of what it says about poisonous flowers, I open my notebook and I, like, press it in, like, the first, like, opening page, so it's, like, pressing on my book.
Okay.
Little flower. Kept there.
And you said all of you were going back to the tavern?
Yes, I'm following Moss. I'm definitely following Moss.
Okay.
I used to be the cruel magic one.
Nature magic, bitch! Fuck out of here, arcane pussy! Nature magic for life!
So, as you begin following Moss back to the tavern and approach it, you see that there is a figure out front of it, shrouded in black veil over their face. And as you get closer, the figure turns around, and it is Charisse, Tony's mom, and says, "Tony, I still can't believe this has happened."
I bound up and give her a big hug again.
And she
Moss
says,
walks by wordlessly.
and she says, I'm planning on burying your father today and holding a private ceremony, and I do wish for you to be there."
Say, Mum, hold on, wait. And I, like, call it, Mom!
Moss goes straight upstairs. He doesn't respond.
Moss, come over here. Please.
Think
Uh,
of it.
And
Excessive.
Moss goes into the tavern and walks up the stairs wordlessly.
Say, Mum, look, listen. I have an amazing friend, okay? He thinks he can do something to bring back my dad.
And
Okay?
And she says, "Truly? Really?"
Like, seriously.
There might be this is classified information, so you can't tell that to anyone else. But Moss just brought back the Sultan.
And she says, "The Sultan?"
Yeah, but like he's in a different body. He's now a dwarf, so it might be the possibilities there that your husband might end up in a different body as well.
And you see her just kind of look flustered and bewildered by all this information, and just says, "I do wish to have your father back, but I don't know
Moss
how he would feel about being in a body not his own."
Trying to, like, lighten the mood, I jokingly say, I think he'd feel a lot better than he does now.
And she like looks at you and like slaps your helmet and says, you show some respect for the dead."
It's only what he would have wanted, you know that.
I feel bad
My
for
dad's
her.
on the celestial plane laughing his head off right now.
And she says, "But if it is possible to bring your father back, yes, of course.
Moss
Anything,
now,
anything it
Moss,
takes."
Moss now just needs rest because he like just did it, and I think that drained a lot of his energy. But so maybe we, yeah, maybe you don't have the funeral today or just yet. We just wait until Moss is doing better, and then we come over and have him try.
And she says, "Yes, yes, of course. Arno's body is within the ruins of our shop. Um, there's not much left of it, but it does provide some coverage still. And I'll be there with him, waiting to find out if this can actually work."
I wait, look on and I look back to the party and say, I'm gonna have a dad again. And I give her like a big hug.
And she says, "Well, I just come to let you know about the funeral arrangements, but if you believe this can work, I'll hold off, and I guess I can start trying to clean up the destruction of the shop and hopefully look
Maybe
into
we can
getting
help
it
out.
rebuilt."
Yeah,
Maybe
would you
we
need a
can-
hand?
Yeah, if you need a
Heavy
hand,
lifting,
Yeah.
And
We're
she says,
strong.
personally, heavy lifting is the only thing I can do at the moment. I can't exactly heal, so if you need a hand,
and she
strong
says,
hands.
yes, that would be amazing if you can do that. Um, are you busy right now, or?
No, not at all.
Not really.
And she says, "Okay, yes, then follow me," and begins making her way through the destroyed city back to the shop.
Question for their mom, or Tony's mom.
Their mom. Everyone's mom.
Everyone's ma.
Mother.
Um,
You want a ma? I got a ma. You can borrow her.
does
Rent
their
a ma.
do they still have any books?
Who?
Tony's mom.
And she says, "Well, our shop has been fairly destroyed, but as we clean up the rubble, you're free to take any books you might find."
Wait, I can just take them?
And she says, "Well, they're no use of me at the moment, and most of them I've read cover to cover anyway, so if you can help us get everything cleaned up, whatever you find is yours."
Whatever I find.
Yeah, let's take advantage of the woman's whose husband just died.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't worry.
I can hear the smile on your
God.
cheeky little face.
Ow.
Hadrada, do we need to get Sylvan again to exercise you?
No, I'm not evil. I promise.
Well, that's what Hadrada back then said, or I guess corn or something. Was it corn?
I don't know. Was it?
So back up at the top of the tavern.
Who are you magic missiling?
I didn't need to
Boss.
click that. I meant to click the information button.
Hey,
Ah,
trying to do exposition here.
sorry.
Try to do exposition.
Moss up in his room, finding a moment alone, would take off his pouch and his staff and everything on him, and take the large metal plate that's been affixed to the front of his chest, and just take it and just kind of slowly and with a lot of force, his arms start shaking with how hard he's trying to take it, and then just rips the plate off the front of his chest, revealing a much frailer, much smaller figure. And Moss is going to be removing the metal armor that he wasn't supposed to be wearing, and I found that out.
Oh, okay.
So Moss is now finding this new level of attunement within nature, is going to remove this large metal plate, and then written across his chest is a language that is not common, but none of you are there, so none of you are there to read it. And he just takes his hand in druid crafts more moss surrounding his body,
Okay.
and then goes and sits down and stares blankly at the wall for 8 hours.
Okay, fair enough. Those of you that are following Tony's mom, uh, she leads you to what was left of the shop, and you see that most of the walls have been destroyed and the roof caved in. There's piles of rubble surrounding it, and
Small question.
yeah.
Can I summon multiple mage hands?
No.
Darn. You can only have one at one time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just sit back, relax, and let my mage hand do the work.
Wow. I mean,
Is
I'm
it
also
certain
gonna have my
Moving
main friend
5
help.
pounds
but,
of
like-
rock at a time.
Doesn't Mage Hand only lift like 5 pounds though?
10 pounds.
Yeah.
10 pounds. Ooh.
I mean, there's like chunks of rubble.
You can dust.
Yeah. There's like smaller ones, but I mean, most of them are all
Small
very
rocks.
Okay,
large.
fair enough. I guess I'm gonna help try and sift through the rubble with my 10 strength.
Tony's gonna, with the fervor of his, let me find it. I'm blind. Where is it? It's on here somewhere. I'll find it.
Okay. So all of you are going to begin like trying to pick up some of the rubble and like get it out of the vicinity.
Yes, and with the fervor
Yeah.
of peerless athlete, I am going to just pick up like whole chunks of wall and be carrying those.
Using what?
My hands.
Oh, okay.
These
So yeah.
mitts.
All of you go ahead and roll strength checks.
With peerless athlete, I have advantage on strength checks.
Okay.
My strength is nothing.
I'm carrying the biggest pieces of wall I can find.
Oh.
Hey, at least I'm not the only one.
Ellie was trying her best, okay?
Okay, so yeah, Tony.
So it's Hardrada.
Tony
Is he
literally picks up like a large chunk of wall and off of the ground and begins moving it out of the vicinity and begins making a pile a short distance off from where the shop is. Durgit also picks up like a couple very good sized chunks of rubble and drops it over onto the pile. Hadrada and Talia, as much as you want to, you just try and it's too heavy, at least by yourself.
Then we team up.
Yeah, we team up.
Power
Yeah.
of friendship.
So yeah, both of you roll strength checks at advantage.
Hooray. I just clicked disadvantage by accident.
Okay, cool.
That's a
Roll
120.
So yeah, alone, your strength alone isn't enough, but teaming up together, you manage to pick up a good few chunks of the rubble as well, and you can see it's starting to make a dent. It's looking less and less ruined in the vicinity, besides the shop, which has yet to be rebuilt yet.
Have I found any books yet?
Roll investigation.
I'll also keep a lookout. I'm not like scouring for books.
Nat
but if I see a
20!
book-
Damn!
Well, looky.
Only want some fucking books.
I want them books!
You can't
Oh,
be
give me
just a
them
thief
books.
off my parents.
Okay, so
I specifically want books about magic, / religion.
so one of the books you find on the cover, it is called "The Collected Scrolls of the Chapter of Susurrations."
Of what?
It is a book on snake magic,
Oh!
and upon reading it, you can also speak to snakes at will.
You can speak to
Wait,
Asia.
so I can just
Must
wait.
be.
So wait, just from reading like a few pages, I can speak to snakes.
It's
Yeah.
a magic book.
Nice. Okay.
Or a book about magic. Yeah.
Do I find any other books?
Yes, you find another one called the Perpendexicon of Nardage. It has insane geometry and esoteric poetry. And as a bonus, you can cast Confusion once per day by reciting a mad poem you pluck from the mad geometry of your mind.
Okay, question. How do you spell that?
Uh,
Or, well, I know Perpepexitron, or Perpepexison, or whatever. But how do you spell the last part?
KNAARDGE.
Okay, thank you. And then how do you spell the last part of the, I can't remember what the first one was called.
Snake book.
Should I just put Snake Book
Hey.
down?
I'm a slippery little sneaky snake.
Here, I'll give you the spelling of it.
Is that what all snakes say?
It is.
That's how every snake talks.
It is SUS
It is sus.
Yes.
U
You.
U
You.
R R. No, just a single U.
Oh, okay.
R R
R.
A T
Alright, seal man.
What?
A T
AT?
IONS.
Is that like Czechoslovakian? Holy hell, it's a lot of consonants.
Okay. Thank you. That's all
And
I
then,
need.
and then you find one more book called Sashin's Magic Axe. It is a book of heavy metal bard spells. As a
Give me
bonus,
that.
as a bonus, upon reading this, you can now growl without damaging your throat, and it still sounds epic.
Give me that. Give me that
You can-
immediately.
You can
Okay.
turn elemental damage into regular metal damage while growling, and
Metal
fire.
damage? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Metal
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
And fireball, but it hurts like steel.
Nice.
So-
It just fucking
Alright, I'm imagining
melts
like a
his skin.
shot of fireball for some reason.
It's just a giant ball bearing, bro. They just spirit bomb that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I give Talia the book on whatever it's called.
Snakes.
Heavy metal.
No, on heavy metal.
On heavy metal. Talia like takes it, and Suna can like see how she visibly starts to like vibrate in excitement, like
She's like,
like
just,
very
you just
excited.
hear a
It's like her whole
you
body
just
is
hear like a
"Mm."
light humming, like
She's like rattling across the
You're
floor
like
like a
light-
phone left on a table.
You could like strap her onto something, and like you can make a hole for her in the body. And then
guys
If I
ever
get us a
leave
hole
her?
with one of my swords, can I make her a jackhammer? Get this construction done quicker.
Okay.
She's, from the vibration, she's like slightly blurry. For,
I have
when you
an
look at
idea,
her.
guys.
What?
I use Thunderwave on the building to try and break apart the rubble.
I would like to grapple Hadrada.
Okay.
I would
Wait,
like
I
to
have a
slap
question
her
though.
brother.
Would Thunderwave successfully be able to
Destroy a still standing barely
Now
house,
what's
yeah.
left of the house?
yeah, would it be able to like break what's left of the house? So that we
Wreck the
can pick
rest
it-
of my livelihood.
No, so that we can pick it up easier.
Destroy my We're not we're not demolition crew.
They're clearing the
Not
rubble.
yet.
Well, yeah, but I want to try and make the rubble smaller.
Can I ask, does Wonderwave have a verbal or somatic component?
It's verbal, yeah.
I would like to grapple Hadrada's jaw.
Just shove your hand into his mouth like, no!
Grab his lower jaw with like my meaty fist.
Just rip off my jaw.
Yeet Hadrada into the next building, so he's screaming instead of doing whatever the fuck he's supposed to say.
Okay, I guess I'm not doing that then.
No, you are not destroying the rest of my house.
Can we continue cleaning up now then?
Yeah. So go ahead and roll strength checks again.
Can
All
I
of us?
be
Hadrada
on the
and
lookout?
Talia, if you're helping each other still, you can roll at advantage.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
we're helping each other.
Can I still be looking out for
Oh, look at
books,
that.
but can they be on specifically enchanting?
I want books specifically on religion. Or
I'll see if I
well,
can find
religion
a
or
book.
magic, not like enchanting though.
You already had your check, sir.
Exactly, sir.
Well, yeah, we're still cleaning up though.
So can I like vaguely look out for that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so let's see. So yeah, Talia and Hadrada helping each other again. You pull up a good few pieces of rubble and take it over to the pile. Durgat and Tony, easily enough by yourselves, you're like moving like whole sections of destroyed wall and getting it out of the vicinity. And at this point, like the shop is starting to look pretty free of rubble. It's only the destroyed structure that's left. Tony, go ahead and roll investigation.
Can I trouble you for a perception check? Oh
Um,
damn. That's okay at least.
Also not a perception check.
Yeah, I know, but I do what I'm told.
Okay.
It's definitely better than I expected.
I will have to get back to both of you on
That's fine.
enchanting books because there isn't really books on enchanting.
You have to give me
Okay,
any
but do I
context,
find any
just-
more magic books?
5e.
I'm not gonna read it anyway. I'm not an enchanter,
Uh-huh.
but I know
Oh,
some.
So
your
the
boyfriend?
concept of an enchanting book
Are
is
you-
learning how to channel your spells into a specific object, and then that just kind of like
Are you
unlocks the
connecting
ability
book-
to do it, and then it just takes a fuck ton of time and money.
Right.
It's not
Oh,
really
Tony,
like
like,
you
you
can
have your
enchant this
boyfriend?
item. It's just you enchant the
Boyfriend.
items with spells that you have. Is the concept,
No
or just like
comment?
the general +1.
So yeah, okay. What were you saying, Thalia and Durgat?
We were saying that that
Tony's looking for
Tony
books
is
for his
collecting books
boyfriend.
for his boyfriend.
I'd like to plead the fifth on that one.
You're not even American.
But you do
What's
find
the fifth? I don't...
Yeah, I don't get it either.
No, it's complicated.
Americans, please explain.
No.
Freedom of
Fuck off.
speech.
Oh.
Ah.
It means you can choose not to speak. Also,
Yeah.
Because we
Continue.
are Americans. So, yeah. It's nice.
that's what's going on.
Can
I'm
I
sleeping,
go
it's up to y'all.
Okay. I go to Tony's mom and ask, hey, do you need help with repairing the shop itself, like get some cement, or do you want that done by professional people?
and she says, well, yes, I had planned on talking to a builder here in the next few days and seeing what can be done about it. I don't know if the structure itself, as it stands, can be saved or if it'd have to be completely rebuilt.
Okay, I understand. You have a place to sleep, right?
And she says, yes, I've made arrangements for the tavern, but I haven't wanted to leave Arno's side, so I haven't gone there yet. I was gonna wait
yeah,
until
understandable. Okay.
we had buried him.
Cass, did I find a
Okay.
book?
Huh?
Did I find a book?
Yeah,
Nice.
it is. Second.
I don't need to know the specifics, because I'm not reading it, but
Okay.
if I've
But
got an
yeah,
enchanting book, I'll take that.
yeah. I mean, you do find like a book on some enchantments.
Nice.
And
I will continue to help my parent then.
okay. And at this point, Charisse kind of looks around and says, "Well, it's starting to take shape. But despite the ruined shop, it almost looks like nothing's happened here." Says all of the rubble's been moved out of the way. I think I could probably start talking to a builder and seeing what they can do about it.
I mean, it's a little more open plan than I first expected, but
Do you have enough money for a builder? Otherwise, I think we could provide.
And she says, that's very kind of you, but yes, we have some gold reserves stashed away. We weren't expecting anything like this, but we had it as an emergency fund
can I
nonetheless.
insight check that?
Sure, go ahead.
You're gonna seriously insight check your mom?
Yeah, damn straight.
17.
Should I be
Yeah,
saving face?
yeah. I mean, it seems like she's telling the truth.
Nice.
And let's get so wary when a DM says it seems like.
I don't know.
I mean, enchanting weapons is a somewhat lucrative business, so.
That's fair.
My parents were loaded.
How much time do you think it took them to fully clear out everything in there, Mike?
I would say close to 6 hours.
6 hours. So yeah, that's right about when Moss would be waking up from his auto shutdown sequence, whatever you want to call that. So, he doesn't really sleep, but he sits there inactive for roughly 6 hours.
Basically,
Stand by.
like a meditation kind of thing.
Stand by.
Recharging.
Yeah.
Recharging.
Recharging.
So would you say at the end of that, would that be sufficient
plug
enough
him
for
in?
my long rest after having not slept the day before, so I could stay up and revive the Sultan?
Yeah, I would say so.
So I guess right about the time you guys are moving out that last bit of rubble and having this conversation about construction crews, you see a very, still very tall and very wide, but significantly less bulky Moss. And just a new clean layer of plant matter across. Now, what was kind of like just kind of dabbling the top of his head and his shoulders is now more like wearing like a shirt or a breastplate itself made out of plants.
Hey Moss, you lost some weight.
Weight well lost. Turns to Tony. I believe
Tenemos.
I can help.
I stand up and I like turn my mother towards him.
May
And-
I see the body?
And she looks at Tony and says, "This is your friend?"
This is it.
We've met before. If you recall, I made special requests, but was unsure of what I wanted. I do apologize for the confusion.
Mm,
I hope you both can supply me with more in the coming days. And then he's very, very deep bow.
And she says, yes, you just look slightly different from the last time I saw you. And
I've
just
shed
wondered-
some dead weight.
and she says, but yes, the body is back this way. And I mean, there's really not any walls or rooms. It's just kind of, half of the back half of the structure that wasn't destroyed. And you see laying on a table inside is Arno's body,
So,
wrapped up in a similar like cloth wrap as the Sultan.
hold on, checking something real quick.
What?
5 feet. Okay, so is it one action? Okay, yeah. So Moss would take at least a minute, so a minute or two, and just do. Oh no, I don't have that many casts of it. Never mind. Can only do 5 feet. Yeah, so scratch that idea. So he's just gonna kneel down in front of the body, and in a very similar fashion, summon this time significantly more brightly colored moss. Before, you guys are used to seeing the traditional green. This has much more. You see flecks of like turquoise and purples and colors that should not be growing in nature. And he just goes
You
and
ready?
again starts marking out, leaving this kind of wet, moist trail behind, and then out of that trail growing these soft, grassy patches of the same impossibly colored specks. And once again begins his 1 hour casting time of reincarnate. But as he starts, you turn to the party. Now, this is quite costly. Out of the chest the Sultan provided, it seemed it used about 1,000 gold coins.
I'm gonna throw him all my gold. You have 400 gold.
How much
400.
do I have?
I need 600 more.
I'm gonna throw him 500 gold.
100 more.
I'm gonna throw in the last 100.
That will suffice. And once again, go through, and it takes an hour. You all can sit and watch or whatever, but in this time, knowing you're all there, at least from even the beginning, you see Moss's hands start whirring in an impossibly fast, impossibly efficient mechanical manner. Even faster than you saw with the Sultan this time. More confident in what he's doing, knowing that at the very least, if he can't be certain, then he knows he doesn't have to worry about being certain. So there's much more confidence in his movements. And again, if you'd like to roll, or I can.
Okay. That is an 88.
88.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I have that
Moss.
feeling.
Moss reaches forward with his left hand and touches the top of Tony's father's forehead and that same covering of plant matter across. And slowly the body is just consumed and covered by this matter. And Moss reaches out with his right hand next to him and touches the ground. And I'm going to pull up the description of this because I'm not actually sure what the 5e version of these guys look like.
Oh god.
I have the bad feeling.
Can I actually use the roll table I have
Yeah, go ahead.
for this one? Okay.
Ooh.
Hold on real quick.
Absolutely.
I will DM it to you.
Alright, can you tell me what it would have been if you'd used your roll table?
It was going to be a Kenku.
Oh.
That'd been
It
interesting.
was going to be a bird person.
He just won't be able to speak as soon as his
Well, yeah, no, he can still do mimicry, and you can still talk like that. I'll pin
I
this.
look
Do you want this to
to
be
Bard, I
the?
say-
So this is the base one. This is the one that doesn't have the fun ones. You
I
wanna
want to
go
lick
with these and this
turquoise
one, Mike?
moss.
What's that?
I'm 100% down to use this, but this is the one where it doesn't have the extra races. These are just the base races.
I don't know why, but I have the urge to lick the turquoise
I'm 100%
moss.
down if you want to do it so it's limited to the 5e base races, but the one that I have has like all of them.
Yeah, let's use this one.
All right, right. So that's just the standard. Yeah, so in this one, reaches down and touches his hand to the ground. And slowly a patch of grass forms. And you actually see the body that Moss is currently touching with his left hand. Slowly, you see the moss deflate and sink away. And on the right, at the exact same time as the body above dissipates, the body to the right reforms. And Moss reaches up and wipes across Tony's father's eyes. And you see a perfect recreation of Tony's father.
Oh my god.
Tony throws his helmet down on the ground. He's like streaming with tears. He runs over. He gives him the biggest hug.
And similar to the Sultan, like his chest slowly begins to compress and decompress, and the eyes flutter open a little bit. And as soon as you like grab him and hug him, it's just the same, like, you know, life just being punched into this body, and just and starts looking around, wild-eyed, and says, "What happened?"
I'm like bawling and speechless.
He says, "I vaguely remember some things, but my mind is quite clouded."
Give yourself some time. This will be very confusing. But you are back, and you are safe.
I'm back from the dead.
And he like kind of begins looking around at the ruins of the shop and says, "Oh, well, I guess not only will I have to rebuild myself, but our livelihood will also have to be rebuilt. But it's a small price for being alive and being with my family once more."
Yeah, it was around 1,000 gold.
Almost exactly, actually.
And he like turns to Charisse and says, "Go get the emergency fund and give it to these fine people."
Oh no,
I said, no,
no,
you need that.
no, definitely not. We're not accepting that. No way, no way. You keep that.
And
I
Like,
only
look-
have 59 gold left, but I do have to say, keep it.
and looks at Hadrad and says, "Oh, I thought you brought up the matter of the price for repayment."
No, there's no
No,
price.
no.
There's no price.
There's no
My-
price
no,
on
my God.
life.
For Tony's friends, we wouldn't charge you for something like that.
I
We're
tell
glad
him
to see
that
you all.
him
by the
being
way.
here is the best repayment.
Yeah.
And he says, "Nonetheless, it's very rare anybody gets a second chance from crossing over. I intend to use mine and make the most of it." And looks at Moss
By
and
the way,
says,
how was
"Thank you."
dying?
You don't ask that.
Moss stands and just gives a slow bow.
I don't know.
He says,
So it's
well,
just like covering Durgan's mouth, just like shh.
he says, "Well, to be honest, I only remember being thrust into black, into darkness, and then a soft white light began to kind of emanate in the distance, and soon it overtook everything, and I was cradled in warmth, and that was really all I can remember of it."
Life has a tendency to wait and see what will happen.
I say in Celestial, thank the gods, but most
You don't
thing-
have.
but
No,
most
why do you always have to speak in other
So
languages?
let him talk.
I say thank the gods in Celestial, and also thank Moss in Celestial. The reason I'm doing this in Celestial is specific, but I can't really explain it.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, check the
When-
PM real quick.
When he says and thank Moss, because I understand Celestial, I like pull back from my dad, who I'm thrilled is now alive. And I turn to Moss and I give him like a slow reach around hug, like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, Moss just slowly, like for a minute, like kind of waits, and then reaches forward and wraps his hand around you as well, kind of just mirroring your gesture.
I say thank you.
I do what I can.
Hardrada's tail is like sort of wagging.
You're a dog.
Oh yeah, you're like a little
Um,
tiefling
Tiefling.
dwarf.
Yeah, I'm a tiefling dwarf thing.
Oh, are you wearing your armor right now, Tony?
Sure. Apart from my
Okay.
helmet.
Well, like your breastplate mainly.
Yeah.
Is the like, okay, yeah. So all right, fuck, all right. Well, when you do that, two metal plates grinding together kind of dissipate the moss carved across Moss's chest and flaking away. Probably not all of it, but a good bit of it is revealed, and you see bits of writing, which you two both can recognize as celestial, but it's still kind of covered, so you can't really read it.
Do I notice this, Mike?
Roll a perception check.
12.
I'm not that stealthy. and
One.
I'm not actively hiding.
I'm not imagining you're being stealthy. I'm just in a very
Yeah.
emotional moment.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say like the quick glance that you get at it, you would be able to read some of it.
I point out to Moss and say, "Do you know what?"
Moss looks down. It's like, it's not a language I can understand, but it seems it's ground into me. And I guess at that, Moss just kind of goes and like brushes his hand against his chest and shakes the rest of it off.
What does it say?
Yeah, I'm gonna PM it to you and to Corin didn't really spot it yet, but
Yeah, no,
wiping
Corin.
off, I guess he'd see it. Does anyone else in the party? Do you either Talia or Durgit speak Celestial?
I'm. Oh, that's right, I'm aided. I don't.
I
know.
mean,
I
I
speak in
definitely don't.
I speak Infernal, but not Celestial. I'm an idiot. No,
I speak Orc and Thieves can't.
Yeah, no, so just those two.
Hopefully they will.
And that is what is written across his chest.
As I like lean down to read this out.
It's about at your eye level.
Oh yeah, you're huge.
6'7".
Yeah, yeah. As I stand to read this out, I'm like running my finger along your chest weirdly.
He doesn't react. He doesn't know what to read.
I read out. It says, and I get out my little like book and paper.
Reading glasses.
My reading glasses. I get out my notebook and I write in the front page, Machina Sylvan, which is what it says. I read that out to the group. So does that have any significance to you, or?
Could I what check would that be? Could I make a history check to see if that jogs anything, Mike?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I also know anything about this? At all?
I would say probably not.
Nah?
Oh shit, I was
Ooh,
not
Jesus.
expecting a high roll. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. I'll let it up to you, Mike, if that lets anything happen.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely jogs something in your memory.
I believe that's my name. The Moss looks down at it and reads out what you wrote out in common. Machina Sylvam.
Machine? Sorry, I know
Yes, it's Latin. You're on the right track.
it's forest machine.
You gotta figure out what. Yeah. Well, you gotta remember Latin's reversed.
Oh, so it's machine forest. No?
Machine of the forest.
Okay.
Machina Sylvam.
I know Machina is machine, and then Sylvana is like, because isn't that's why it's named Sylvian?
Sylvan. Yep. That's where
I don't know
term
Latin,
Sylvan
and
comes
I've
from.
learned Latin for like the past.
But the
4
most
years.
important question is the grammar correct?
Yes.
I know Celestial.
But yes, you across his chest you can read that. But
I mean, the Latin
bel-
is the Latin correct,
this
like
does
IRS.
feel familiar. I'm not
I,
sure what this means. I'll
I
need
give
to
him like a
think
big
more.
smile. Cause I'm like proud of my boy, learning who he is.
Okay, so should we call you that now, or Smalls? Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
What would you prefer we call you?
Moss kind of looks down for a second. You see one of his eyes whirring in and out really quickly, and then looks up. Let's stick with Moss for now. I'm not sure who I was, but it seems I do have a past. I was unsure of this before, but and he looks down and traces it over again the same way Tony was. I believe I have some idea.
Oh damn!
It was brilliant.
That
You have
was
to ruin the
really
moment.
brilliant.
No, that's the perfect cap to that moment. Yeah, some also to the group. I believe we need to be on our way. But, and then turns to Tony's mother and father. Thank you for welcoming me to this city. And I wish you both long lives. And if not, let me know within 10 days. And he just slowly bows.
Here's my business card.
And they're
Blatant.
they're currently like holding each other and give a slight chuckle as you say this and say thank you for all that you've done for us.
Please contact your doctor within 10 days of revival. if you have
Well,
any
I
of
don't make
these
flight
symptoms.
side effects.
Do not kill yourself, for this will breach your warranty.
If you have symptoms of death, please call within 10 days.
Voss just all of a sudden turns really suave with his like pre-prepared speech.
And
Starts talking faster so you can't hear the disclaimer quite as well.
Okay.
Your body will not be the quite same.
Lesen Sie die Fangbeilage und fragen Sie Ihren Arzt nach
There is no
Bezeichnung.
guarantee that your race will be the same upon awakening. We are not responsible for any race changes.
I'm so sorry for starting this.
Contact your local physician. See if
Contact your
revival is right
local
for you.
druid.
Okay.
Contact your local late doctor.
Right. So,
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So wait. What?
I'd like
Okay.
to speak to my parents before we leave.
Okay.
I told them. I have the maps, right? I'm the guy carrying the maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're the
I
map
take out
guy.
the map of Voodoo, and I point out to where we have a castle. And I'm like, we have a castle here. If you ever need anywhere to, like, live at all, we have a castle. You can, like, go find a room, have it.
Yeah.
Just, like, while you get this built up, like, fix your shop and that. But if you need a place to stay while that happens,
I
that's
think
like,
we should claim our rooms first.
Oh,
look, whatever room they
We
clear,
don't have time
it's
for
my
that.
room when they leave.
Tony, Moss nods. I agree with it.
okay, sounds fair.
Speaking of, I do believe we should make that one stop before we go.
I
Back.
think we.
We don't
The
have
Winter
time.
Veil. We have
Yeah.
specifically 2 weeks.
Or more.
I
We do
do
have
believe
specifically 2
a
weeks.
moment of respite is earned.
And
We've
you
all been through
know,
a bit.
and you know that sailing from Vudar
Just
back to
about to ask.
Ethevon takes roughly about a week in itself.
Alright, so we got a week. How long would traveling down there take?
I would say
What is the? Here's a better question. What's the fastest mode of transportation, and how fast does it go?
You.
That's the question. Am I faster? Yeah, is there a mode of
mean-
transportation faster than 160 feet per second?
You mean minute?
What? No, it was 160 feet per round, divided by
Feet per 6 seconds.
divide that by 6.
Oh well, then
That's my
never
feet per
mind then.
second.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
yeah,
I'm faster
I
than a
mean-
caravan. Yeah.
yeah, I would say so.
And how far of a travel is it from? Let's go to World Lore. Look at this map. So we are in Plaixula, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to our castle, which is just south of Toshore,
Bingo.
between Toshore and the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how far of a ride is it, just straight that way, if I'm moving at full speed for 8 hours?
Are you
Would I be able
talking
to make it there in a day?
like time wise or like
Yeah.
mileage wise?
I guess
Time.
both. Like, would I be able to make it in a day? How many days journey type thing? If I'm moving at full speed, if I turn myself into ultimate transportation form.
I would say yeah, it'd take like the better part of the day.
But like the full day.
Yeah, going like full speed.
So,
Like
would it take
mileage
3
wise,
days total to go from Plaixula to the castle and then to Zondiros?
Why would we go to Zonduras?
Oh,
Kurg!
to Honduras, that would be like 2 days.
Yeah, it's double the distance. So yeah,
I think we should like go to our castle and then go to Wintervale and then see if Kirk is still where he is.
We do have a full week.
Yeah, but still. I think like
This will
I
take
feel
3
like
days.
I'd rather get there early.
it is
Tony-
true.
Tony
It
Durgat's
is
mom
best.
was there.
That
It
is
is best to arrive before the incursion begins.
That's a fair point.
I'm not sure
I'm sorry,
what
I
awaits
like
you there,
Kirk,
but Wintervale seems to be the place to go for Durgat and for the safety and knowing what the cult's movements are. But I believe a few days' respite at our castle would do us all very well. And turns to Tony's parents, if you would like to come, you are welcome to ride as well. I can bring you back safely and quickly.
And she looks at Arno and he says, "I think perhaps we'll pass this time. Arno needs rest. He's not travel ready yet."
Moss bows deeply. Until next time, then.
And they return the bell. And as you all start to leave, Charisse kind of grabs Tony's arm as he leaves and gives him a very big hug and whispers in his ear and says, "Find the ones that did this, destroy them, and then let's go."
As I stand up, I give her like a weird look. That's strangely unusual for him, but I'm like, don't worry. I know. And then I go back with the group. I picked my helmet up first, I threw that on the floor, then I go back with the group.
Okay.
All right. So we all gather. Are we
Mhm.
ready to go?
Yes, absolutely.
So for my ultimate
Also,
travel
Spaz has been
form,
with me for this whole time, just everyone.
Cool.
We're
Moss
not
is
losing
going
him
to
yet.
take the form of a killer whale with Quetzalcoatlus wings, and
Fucking god.
and the deep long fur of which one was it? Let's do a giant boar because they've got really ratty long fur, good to hold on to.
Okay.
And so just this literal huge creature, more than enough room for the entire party, more than enough hit points to get however far we need with an 80-foot fly speed.
Okay.
With no ability to talk, so Moss just kind of flops into this fucking form. And lowers his wing to the party.
I look at him like, this is definitely the strangest one you've had so far.
I think it's cool.
And as all of you mount up onto Moss's new form to begin making your way towards your new stronghold south of Toshore, we'll go ahead and end it there.